Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing with In-Depth Podcast, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster. For episode 264, I got my main man, Mark. Oh my gosh, how am I going to pronounce your last name? Yeah, I'm glad you came. I've been trying to get Mark on the show for, wow, I would get three years now since I met him. Yeah, I don't know, maybe not. I think so, though. So for the listeners out there that are first time, I want to say thank you for joining the show. If you like what you see, please rate it, subscribe, comment. If you're watching on YouTube, we'd love to have your feedback. We'd love to know more about what you think of what Mark is talking about, how we're dropping diamonds. Mark's going to drop diamonds today. And then for my worldwide listeners from all over the world, thank you for tuning into the show. I appreciate you more than you know. I wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you, because I don't get paid doing this. So in regards to making marketing a lot easier, simpler, but talking about all businesses, I think it's really important that we all level our game up. So I wanted to have Mark on the show because he does cybersecurity and I am not an expert in it. So Mark, can you please tell the listeners and the viewers out there who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Mark Tishenko. I founded edgefi about almost 20 years ago now. And it's been quite a journey, starting from having no idea what I'm doing to having an amazing team around me that does. So yeah.
So he's making it sound so simple. So what are the products that you sell, or services, I should say?
The services we sell, we have two sides of the business. One is our managed IT, where we're supporting small businesses. We attempted to shut it down, and customers came to us and they're like, we really need these services. You have to keep them. So we did.
It's a good problem to have.
That is a good problem. We've tried for 2 years to kind of get out of that business, but we do it so well, and customers were practically panicking that we're shutting those services down. So general support, making sure that everything's working properly, helping people when they do need help. And the mission is to get technology out of the way so that people can do what they do best. And then on the security side, we do a lot of compliance, security engineering, working with banks, credit unions, larger institutions that need more enterprise grade security.
And so we say cybersecurity, so you're just talking about, email phishing or cyber attacks?
Yeah, so there's quite a few things. Phishing is a big one, and we do phishing simulations, phishing training. That's kind of the table stakes these days. You have to do it. If you don't, then you're kind of in trouble. And then going into thinking more proactively, where's the world headed? Like, what's happening with AI right now? How is AI going to affect our business from a security perspective? Are we going to be in trouble? And then if we are, what troubles do we see in the future? And then thinking through that strategically and figuring out what a business should do.
Okay, so now you brought up the word, or two words, one word, AI. Is AI going to take your job?
I hope it takes my job. But in reality, people are freaking out about AI. When electricity was created, people were freaking out. Companies and the wood companies would go out of business. Where would all these people go work? They found new jobs. People got reskilled. The internet came about, and all those, punch cards and spreadsheets and all those manually done things went away, and people adapted. Humans adapt. AI is not something we should be scared of. AI should be something that we embrace. And the ones that should be scared of AI are the ones that don't want to do anything about AI. So if you're not going to go in and get muddy in the understanding of what AI is and how is it going to benefit you individually, then those people are in trouble. I don't believe that most of humanity is. So,
Whew, that's deep. Might have to run that back for those that didn't catch it. We talk about cybersecurity and most people think like, oh, if I maybe use a password manager, but I want to make it really simple there's not a lot of cybersecurity videos or people talking about it anymore, at least from what I could tell. What do you see in your world? Because Like, I love how he's just come up in here. He's chill, laid back, cybersecurity. Yet, if you bring up a cybersecurity map of all the hits and threats that are happening, it's like a nonstop war game.
It is a war game. And the bad guys are usually a few steps ahead of the good guys. Whenever a new lock is created, there's somebody trying to bust it open. Security has always been a business. There has always been locksmiths. There has always been, military. That's all security. Cybersecurity is essentially the same thing, but we're protecting the attackers are a lot more malicious. And today, like in the last 3 months, it's a lot easier to become a hacker than it was a year ago. It's a lot easier to, get through the defenses today than it was a year ago. What are we doing as a business? How are we building a moat around our business that will help prevent that? And when it does happen, how are we going to respond? Who are we going to call? You wake up in the morning and, your Google Drive or SharePoint is locked out. What are you going to do? Most of us don't even think about it.
No, when you said, I'm like, oh, wait, what? That could happen to me. What would I do?
Yeah, there's account takeovers happen all the time. Facebook is notorious for that. So
yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to start a new account on Facebook. But
for business.
No, you can't do that for a business. So, for the business owners out there that are like, look, I need to like clamp down my stuff. What are some of the first steps you would tell them to do?
You said it, password manager.
Okay.
So we work with quite a few large brands. And one of the executives reaches out to me and she's like, hey, Mark, so we have this individual that's responsible for 40 or $50 million worth of revenue on Amazon. And I'm like, cool, that's really awesome. And she's like, well, that individual is not giving us access to the Amazon seller portal. How do we get it from them? I'm like, you guys are like in charge. Tell them to give you the password. And they're like, well, we're scared because that individual, if we upset him, they're going to go away and all that stuff is going to go away. So we had to bring in our strategists and figure out how are we going to get that information from that individual who at this point in our system, they're flagged as a threat, internal threat. And the strategy was fairly simple. It took us a couple of hours, but it was very simple. Roll out password managers across the whole corporation and then tell everybody that it's a requirement to use a password management. So we're essentially doing a Trojan horse to get the information out of his head. That worked.
Wow.
And then once that password was in, the password is audited carefully. So if that individual leaves, we could always get that password to that account. A few months later, it's a lot more sophisticated, and now we have back-end access, and that individual does not have administrative access. But it took a minute to kind of hedge our bet. Is this person going to go rogue or not? So those are cyber threats. When you have an internal person that could go rogue.
And just to be clear, this wasn't an employee, not to her. I'm sorry. Let you finish your story.
Yeah, it was an employee of that company.
Right, because what I wanted to allude to, it wasn't someone outside the company.
It wasn't outside. It was internal threat.
And which I was going to get to. Most threats or most compromises or liabilities come from within, either clicking on an email or not. So that's what I was trying to allude to.
Yeah. So today, it's very hard to hack through a firewall, or even your internet service provider is doing a really good job protecting the perimeter. So the walls of the business, of technology are fairly secure. And even platforms like Microsoft and Google, they're very secure platforms. The tools that we have today are just really good. The biggest threat, and I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but it's up there, that text messaging, email, and voice is the best way to get into an organization. One example, I hope this customer's not listening, but there's a large local institution that hired us to do a penetration test for them. So what we did was we went in and First year, we found a lot of data that shouldn't have been out in the public. It was a very poorly managed IT environment. And that was like 700 or 800 employees. It's a big organization, at least for our region. And
yeah, that's big.
So we give them a punch list of things they need to fix. They fix it. Next year, we do the pen test again. This time, we managed to find leaked credentials from just the public leaked credentials. I think it was Facebook or somebody that.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
We cross-referenced the employees at this organization from LinkedIn to everyone that was compromised in the Facebook compromise. Then used that password that was compromised on Facebook to access the internal systems. It was a very simple. It wasn't super advanced. It wasn't like there's a hacker in the basement, doing the whole matrix thing. No, it was very, very easy, and it's all accessible online. Long story short, we got into the system, and then we managed to compromise their internal chat system, like I think Slack, but it was an internal one. And we started sending messages to all of the employees saying, hey, I'm new here. I got this document from my boss, and I can't open it. Can you open it for me? See if it works on your computer? Well, they trusted this internal, chat program. A lot of people opened that document. Well, that document contained payloads that allowed us even deeper access. We got into all of their accounting systems, pretty much everything within a matter of hours.
That's crazy.
But nobody would have thought that that's the path to getting in.
Yeah, so here's some things to where I have a computer science background, and I remember my professor was telling me that computers are dumb, and we are the ones that are telling the computers to do the things, and we are the ones that are also creating the problems. But computers are dumb, and you have AI. We had AI 20 years ago, but you still needed machine learning to basically interpret everything. And so one of the biggest things that I run across that I think is, certainly probably for you in your world, I have no idea, but telling people that you're dumb, you failed, you messed up. This is not where you don't want to say pay this money for it, but I'm trying to protect you from yourself. I wonder how many of those conversations you have.
A lot. Usually with CEOs or CFOs are a little bit better, but CEOs notoriously, they want to be very private, so they don't want IT, having visibility into their environments. But then they also use passwords like ABC123. And my favorite one from a recent conversation, and they just texted it to me. It was just love, LOVE. I mean,
that's cute.
It's cute, and it's 2025. We know we shouldn't, but CEOs do that. It is normal.
Yeah.
It is absolutely normal for CEOs to eliminate as much friction as possible. Humans will avoid pain at all costs.
We always want to move to pleasure. Okay, so let's just say for the listener out there or the viewer that's on YouTube that cut to this and they're like, I want to learn about cybersecurity, which, we don't want to go too far into this, but there's two-pronged questions. I know we don't have the best coders in America. That can be arguably speaking. And then on the other side is there a way that you can teach yourself code, especially to be a cybersecurity place? Because if I go to the college, who's to say that's going to teach me? How can someone get their cybersecurity knowledge up to even a point where they can say be hired by your company?
Are we talking about professionally cybersecurity or in the general day-to-day sense, like my mom?
Please start with your mom to the burgeoning high school student that may say, I want to look at cybersecurity, especially with all these colleges adding cybersecurity to their technology programs.
Yeah, so people, including my mom, love you, Mom. No, I really do. She encouraged me to do crazy stuff since I was 12. She let me dig up the lawn so I could put in a sprinkler system. I had no idea what I was doing. But she dealt with it, and I think it was multiple months of the dirt everywhere. Long story short, but there's so much information in our pocket. Our phones have a ridiculous amount of information. We were in a rush and we took a picture of our social security number and sent it to our wife. Or passports. A lot of personal information are in our phones. And the reason I use this as an example is because my mom, I'm like, Mom, you really need a stronger password on your phone. And she's like, no, I don't have anything on it. There's just some pictures and that's it. So I went in and I just did the basic search capability that the iPhone has. I was able to find her driver's license, her social security number, which, by the way, we've removed. But it was there. When she saw that, she's like, oh, wow. Like, I don't remember sending that. I'm like, neither do I. I send a lot of personal information that I shouldn't. Protecting that device is key. That's one thing. Second, all the multi-factor authentication codes go to your phone. So bank accounts, investment accounts, all of that, that is the linchpin. So protecting that. Going back to your question, how do we get into cybersecurity for high schoolers? Really understanding the foundation. If we don't understand the foundation or how something is built, we can't help secure it.
And I don't want you folks to tune out like, oh, I'm not going into cybersecurity. I don't need to listen to this. No, this is important for you too.
People will tune out. No, understanding if you want to actually do the work, you have to understand the foundations. If you don't know, if I'm going to go build a house and I am going to go to Home Depot and just buy a bunch of random stuff and slap it together, it's not going to be a house. It's going to be a shed. Actually, a shack. I don't even know. There's no word for it. So understanding what a foundation is, how to build the building blocks, and starting off in IT, help desk, really dealing with people's pain points. Because at the end of the day, security should never be something that is visible. We are not the superstars. We are not Superman there to the rescue. We should be invisible. We should be the glass bridge that connects the consumer and the product for the business. Because every dollar that's spent on security is a dollar not spent on innovation or on the business. And better yet, let's put it back to EBITDA and give the shareholders some value. So we don't want to spend a ton of money. And understanding these kinds of, like, from a business perspective, why security exists, how security gets incorporated is very beneficial for high school students and college students and the cybersecurity graduates. I get to meet a lot of cybersecurity graduates and they think we get to write the rules of the book, but no, the rules of the book is the market. And whatever the business is doing, whatever they're selling, that's the most important. Our job is to protect it and to understand how to protect it.
Okay.
That was a very long and not very clear answer, but understand the foundations.
So you said that, and I'm bringing back to AI to somewhat close. Where do we go with if we're going to protect ourselves and also embrace AI, which means we're allowing lots of different companies. Now we have more than just one platform, one GPT. How do we protect ourselves?
From AI.
From AI, from hackers, from ourselves.
And that's still being developed. I think there a couple of issues that we see. One is a lot of new code, a lot of new applications that are being developed haphazardly with what's called vibe coding. Essentially, whatever you dream up, you tell the AI chatbot and it'll build for you. And there's a lot of really great tools out there now, but are they secure? Are they taking data security seriously? So that's a big problem that we're going to see in the next 6 to 24 months until somebody figures it out. As far as what we do with AI, so we subscribe to really high-end packages, enterprise grade, with even ChatGPT. We subscribe to it as a team. We have certain rules and parameters that we will not go out of. Okay. Everything else is allowed. There's other tools that are specifically designed for compliance-heavy organizations like banks. But historically, the internet, social media, and everything was not embraced by businesses as fast as it is embraced today, as fast as AI is being embraced.
That's true.
There are a lot of companies opening up their budget to learn and embrace AI because it is a superpower. I don't see, going back to, are we going to lose our job? I don't think so. I think companies are going to stay smaller. Mm-hmm. They will produce a lot more. They will do a better job because AI doesn't lie. It hallucinates occasionally, but that's a problem from March, and we're in May today. That the exponential growth and innovation happening is within weeks instead of years. So, AI doesn't lie. So if I want to buy something, instead of me talking to the HubSpot sales rep, I'd rather talk to their AI bot. Because the AI bot will tell me exactly what the price is. I could bully it a little bit and get a better price, but it's never going to give me a bad price, or it's never going to do something that's bad for the company. So it doesn't lie.
Say yes.
Yet.
Hopefully you don't. Maybe
I'm
watching
sure that
the iRobot in me coming.
But at the end of the day, it's a tool, and we really need to embrace it.
Okay. All right. For the folks out there, the viewers and the listeners that want to say, man, he dropped some diamonds. Where can they find you at?
LinkedIn, Mark Tishenko, I think.
Okay. LinkedIn. I'll make sure to put your link in the show notes so they can find you as Tishenko. I know I haven't heard it for a while, and it's always usually said in the board. You say it in the board meeting, so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But just going off of memory, like Tishenko, Tishenko. Now I think I can get it. Tishenko.
Well, yeah. It's not that difficult.
It's not. No, that's really easy. Thank you for coming on to the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk more to you.
Yeah. I would love to have you back because I think cybersecurity is not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere. And both of those, when I say cybersecurity, I should have said this in the very beginning, is basically how do we protect ourselves using machines now?
Yeah.
Because I think pre-pandemic, I think the numbers were like, people have like 2 devices per household. I think now it's up to like 3 or 4 per household. Which is no surprise. And they say now almost everyone in the world has a mobile phone.
That's impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah. So, but what they're not counting is people in rural communities those are in, out countries that don't have the infrastructure built. So what's crazy is at some point in time, the infrastructure is going to connect all of us, but not all of us will know how to use it.
Yeah, the market is big and the opportunity is huge to train people to get them access, because we do need to get people access.
Yeah, which is where I wanted to end this act, because I think it's important to understand there is a lot of opportunities. So don't think you can't. I wanted to also say that you can teach yourself some of these things, but now since things are so complex, get with someone to be mentored so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, because you might go down this rabbit hole. You're like, how do I get out of it? So Mark, thanks again for coming on.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. So, hey, with that, y'all heard it first here at Let's Talk Marketing Within the Podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Webster, where I'm glad that I was able to at least help you. If you watch to the very end, make sure you you subscribe, you put in a comment, because I want to know who are you, where are you from, how did this help you, what did you think about it, and also I just want to get feedback. How can I do better? How can I help you that's out there do better? So all the information went down below. Until next time, I wish you nothing but the best. So dream big and Godspeed. We're out.